Hi. Tonight we're going to talk about my backpacking gear. Um, I have not been an outdoors woman all my life. Some people have had gear their whole lives. Some people are able to go out and purchase everything new. Those were not the circumstance for me, so I was pretty sure I wanted to start backpacking about 6 months before I actually did. So that was over the winter. And I do like to get things at a bargain. So I started looking for the things that I would need to backpack at thrift stores. That gave me several months over the winter to look, and so I crossed my fingers every time I entered a store to see if I could get what I needed without purchasing them new. So I was able to get what I needed, the first thing being an actual backpack. Now, this backpack is a Teton Explorer 4000, 65 liter. It's kind of hard to see in the video. It does actually have the shoulder straps that will give me support, and around the waist with a lumbar support. I Googled it before I even left the store. It was $5.29, and it still had the brand new hang tags on it from a fitness store, a well-known chain. I really like that it has this brain at the top. I keep my power bank, my phone charger in the top, and inside the brain I keep things that I would need right away. An emergency poncho and blanket. Let's see if I can get in there to that. And I can feel them in here. Okay, there's the zipper. I also have a first aid kit. So here's my emergency blanket, my poncho, some things for a first aid kit and some basic toiletries, and some band-aids. So I like to keep the things that I would need right away in the brain in the top. It has nice, it really was able to adjust nicely on my back. I had to walk up and down the alley outside my house several times. I adjusted it, take it for a walk, half loaded. I think I carried 15 pounds. So, and we'll talk about what was causing the weight. So I put weight in it, check the fit. Now, if you are buying it new from REI or a supply store, I strongly suggest that you have them help you make sure that you have a good fit so that there is not weight carrying and pulling you forward. Your body should be straight and the weight should be hanging on your hips so that it's not pulling you forward or back. I was able to get that just by watching YouTube videos. It has really nice storage in it. There are two pockets on either side, and I use that for my water and filtration system. And this side has bandana, and this holds my little backpacking stove. We'll talk about that on another day. So you presume when you have a backpack and you're going backpack that you're going to need to carry everything you're going to need for at least one night overnight. So I had food, I had my sleep system, and I had my clothes in it for the night. And that ended up being about 15-20 pounds. And I carried it on my back for about a mile. That was my first time out. So I was a little nervous. I remembered everything that I needed, and this bag comfortably stored everything I needed. The next thing that I needed to take care of was a sleep system. So, at a thrift store, at a different thrift store on another day, I found this a self-inflating sleep pad. And it's vinyl. I know that there are many, many fancy ones, but I am a form follows function girl. If I find something, I will try it. If it works, I'll keep it. If it doesn't work, we'll move on. This worked out perfectly for me. It has a little valve that I turned. I pumped it a little bit and it filled with air and it held it all night long. I slept comfortably, so this was a keeper as well. Didn't have any problems with it, so why trade it in and get something more expensive and fancier if I really didn't need to? The other thing that I got was a sleeping bag. This also came from a thrift store. Although the sleep pad was used, the backpack was new, and this sleeping bag was new. It didn't have the sleeve, but the girl that was working with me, we opened it up, we looked all through it, and we found evidence with the silica gel packs that this looked like it was new and had not been used. So I was comfortable with that. This is fiberfill. It is good to, I think it's 30 degrees. I was gone overnight inside my tent. I was cold. So this is not something that can be used for very cold temperatures. It was October in Ohio. Um, so it gets chilly overnight, and I was chilly. Um, like I said, this is fiberfill. It took up a lot of space, as you can see. It fills up with air, and I couldn't compress it. I tried to buy replacement bags that would compress it a little bit, and although I could get them in, it really was not terribly functional because I knew I was going to have to pack everything back up the next morning. So I just compressed this down as best I could, and I put it inside my backpack. That worked. Didn't add much weight because fiberfill was mostly air. So in the next bit of time before I go backpacking again, I would like to find a down sleeping bag that will be good for colder temperatures. That also is not a mummy style. I probably will look for a mummy style, but if one doesn't show up, that one still functions. So it wasn't terribly bad. I ended up putting on, let's see, I had my base layer on with some wool socks, and I ended up putting a hooded sweatshirt on to keep me a little bit warmer while I was sleeping in my tent in that sleeping bag. Um, the next thing I needed was a tent. This was about 5 pounds. This was the heaviest thing in my pack. Um, it's a Eureka Apex. This is not new. Clearly you can see it's been loved. It takes me 5 or 10 minutes to put it up by myself. It is a 2-man tent, and it has a nice fly. All the pieces were there. I bought this at a thrift store for $5 and knew years ago, or to replace it would cost me $100. So when I added everything up, I paid less for the sleeping pad, the sleeping bag, the brand new backpack, and the tent than I would have for any one of these items. So I was pretty excited about that. The thing that I tried, I got this. This is a camp chair. It is a folding camp chair. It doesn't sit up like I'm sitting up elevated now. This would be good for sitting around a campfire. Wendy Outdoors likes hers because she said she can stretch her legs out in front of her, which I have not noticed. And I thought, I have to rethink that. The reason I decided not to take this was this added another almost 4 pounds. and I can sit comfortably on a log. And when it came to weight and what I wanted to carry for a couple miles, when I was taking food and clothes and my other necessities, this was not a necessity. So it was still brand new in the Amazon box. So it's nice. It folds right out. Um, it does go. You can see the legs aren't very long. So it will be for by the campfire. I will use that when I car camp, but it just weighs more than I think I need to carry on my back. So I made it out the next day with everything that I needed. I was happy with my purchases and will continue to try to find things that I need or upgrades at thrift stores. Uh, I highly recommend, if you are on a budget, to look for used gear. REI has a garage sale. There are stores that you can Google and they will tell you. One of them is almost 3 hours away. So if I really wanted that sleeping bag, I could call ahead, and it's still cheaper to drive 3 hours away than spend $150. So, you got to weigh your options. Um, that will be the only thing that I really feel like I need to replace. I don't think I need to replace the sleep pad. It compressed down. It was not heavy. The backpack held everything comfortably. And so I highly encourage you, if you're on a budget and you really want to backpack, start accumulating things. I've also looked and gotten some things at garage sales. I'll do another video on the camp amenities that I've found at garage sales. I just like the thrill of the hunt. Some people would rather just go into a store and just get what they need, but that's not my style. So I'm glad you could come with me today and see just what I was able to find, and I think I scored very well. I was very pleased, and I hope that I have some more videos that you will enjoy watching as I accumulate things and talk about my adventures. Please like and share, and I appreciate you coming today. Thank you. Bye.